Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Eve, or you can call me Dearest Eve. And this is a new thing that I'm doing, a new podcast, which is the Awesome Woman Hub. And in this podcast, I actually want us to focus on mental wellness, careers, faith, obviously, and as well as, relationships. So basically, it is all about life in its entirety. I'm going to be talking about how to actually stop overthinking. Okay. And this is a topic that's really close to my heart because I am, a victim of overthinking. I think a lot of us are, because in this busy world that we live in, nobody really knows what they're doing. We're all just trying to, do what's best for us. We're all just trying to make it in life. We're all just trying to live a good life. And I think if you can check my channel bio, it says something like, this is Zoe, or Zoe kind of life. And I'm going to explain this to you. Zoe means like a good life just as God has it, or life just as God has created it to be. Right. So my thing is, I felt like talking about this mental battle, which is overthinking. It happens to the best of the best, but you really, I just feel like, you really need to tackle that part, the deepest part of yourself that actually leads you to being an overthinker. Because let me tell you something, there are actually negative effects as well as, maybe positive impacts when it comes to overthinking. It's kind of like contradictory, because overthinking in its essence, it leads to anxiety, it leads to eventually depression. And I feel like if you find yourself, in this rut where you just like always constantly overthinking everything, you are literally gonna lead yourself into extreme anxiety, and we all know that extreme anxiety also leads to severe depression. And these are the kinds of topics that I love to talk about. So anyways, let me just say, overthinking in its entirety will lead you to having anxiety. So, but what are the tips that I can maybe give you in order for you to try and overcome this demon, this thing called, this thing which is, overthinking? I think, firstly, a lot of people don't know themselves. A lot of people don't like spending time with themselves. And I think that's where all of these problems that we have in the world, this is where they begin. Because when you are not comfortable being by yourself and just like enjoying your own presence and enjoying, the comfort of your aura, it's gonna be a problem, because it's like you find joy, you find the meaning of life only when you are surrounded by people, only when you are around people. And also, I do have a special verse, from the Bible, of course. The Word of God says, I think it's in the book of Luke chapter 12, verse 22. And I think I came across this verse not so long ago, Overthinking will lead you to depression. Even the Bible says, in the book of Luke 12, verse 22, it says, do not worry about anything. It really literally instructs you to not worry about anything. And it furthermore says, will worrying add a single hour to your life? Like, even if you think about it, like, will worrying actually add a single hour to your life? Even a second to your life? Because most of the time we're like creating these scenarios in our heads and being like delulu about a lot of things, and we kind of like expect to be in control of the outcomes of certain situations, and unfortunately that's not how life works. That is not how life works. You cannot expect to be in control of any outcome. What you can actually do is be in control of your actions, be in control of your mindset, because this also has something to do with discipline. I don't know, if you are a person who is not disciplined, then your mind will always be like all over the place. You don't know what you're doing with your life. You don't know where you're going, where you're headed. I mean, I know I mentioned that, nobody knows what they're doing, but we're all just trying, at least try to find something that you can focus on. And I know that especially in my country, South Africa, there is a very high percentage of unemployment, and that is one thing that I can say leads to a lot of depression, especially amongst, the youth. But there is a way to tackle that. There is a way. You can always try to find something to do, man. Also, I think I've mentioned this before in my channel, that you need to have a diary, a journal. If you don't have money to purchase like a fancy cute journal, you can always just get like a book. What do you call those college books, or rather notebooks from school, or even like in a ShopRite, I think, or any store. Basically, you can get those books from as little as 5 rands, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so if you cannot afford a journal, at least get yourself a book. Why am I saying this? Writing down your feelings will actually save you from a lot of overthinking. Instead of you drowning in your sorrows, drowning and just like kind of like being controlled and being trapped by your own thoughts, how about you take a pen? If you don't have a pen, take a pencil then, and just write down your thoughts whenever you feel this sense of anxiety, or you just feel overwhelmed by life. Because I mean, that is normal, but the only difference is that people who have discipline are actually able to control those kind of feelings. We all have one of those days, when you just feel so down and you don't want to talk to people. You feel like, what is the meaning of life? Why was I created? So when you write down your feelings, honey, I promise you, this is something that I practice. I'm not just telling you something that I don't know. I am speaking from experience. Like, when you write down your feelings, you will, it's kind of like those thoughts that you have are like being transferred to the paper, like magically. I don't know how, but that's how it works. So instead of those things, if instead of you hoarding those negative feelings, you then have to write them down and then just like let them out of your system. Because it's actually very also dangerous for you, because it can lead to a lot of mental illnesses. So one other way of overcoming overthinking. Focus on the things that make you happy. Focus on the things that really set your soul on fire. Focus on the things that make you comfortable. Things that give you, like, that sense of, well, I'm okay. Like, I'm not happy. I'm not too happy. I'm not too sad, but I'm just like content. So you will never get to that level of being content with yourself, with who you are, uh, unless if you do, the work. Everything in this world happens through actions. If you don't take any action for your life, if you don't do anything to help yourself, nobody's coming to save you, honey. I'm sorry, because everybody is fighting a battle, especially mental battles. Everybody is just fighting this mental battle, because you're always thinking of, how can I make my life better? How can I achieve this and that? How can I see myself in a certain level, because I actually do not like where I am right now. Which also leads us to another topic, which is like, who told you that you're not supposed to be on this level where you are in your life? Like, are you God? Because, I mean, honestly speaking, guys, nobody knows anything about their future. Yes, we can plan in our hearts, but the Lord is the one who determines our steps. So overthinking will not help you with anything, unfortunately. There are also these people who like just fantasizing about things and expecting those things to happen. It's kind of like, I don't know, we always talk about being delulu and stuff. There is a good way and a better way of being delulu, like delusional, and there are other ways that are just dangerous for you, that are extremely hazardous for you. So anyways, guys, those are the negative effects, the negative sides of overthinking, because wow, you'll just go crazy, honestly, and you'll never be happy in your life. Whenever you see people, achieving things in their lives, getting this, getting that, getting jobs, getting married, buying things that you also want, but you cannot, or rather you're not at a place where you can actually afford those things, you'll be so hurt. So the trick to overcoming overthinking is like, honey, accept who you are, accept your situation, while you are doing the work, like the inner work, and also do not let yourself rot in bed or just be a potato. Like, do something with your life. Really, do something with your life. Your life cannot stay like that forever. It's a lie, it's a lie that, people want to be spoon-fed, and unfortunately in this world that we live in, no one is gonna come and spoon-feed you, because everybody is just fighting for themselves. We live in a jungle, it's a man eat, what do you call it, a dog eats dog kind of world. This is a jungle. Everybody is just fighting for their own lives, yeah. So anyways, but let's go to the positive impact of overthinking. And I know this is it's rather weird, but I'm just gonna say this, and it's only one thing that well, I don't know how to put it, but like one positive thing that has come out of my overthinking, now I'm talking about myself, is that I think about the craziest ideas, and it takes a lot of time for me to like process those ideas. I overthink, And so I channeled my mind to use my overthinking in a positive impact, in a positive way, and channel those thoughts to help me into bettering myself. So what I do is, so if I find myself overthinking, and I mean, I don't really think it's overthinking, honestly. I'm just like a very extremely creative person. So I'm always thinking about creative ideas and, a lot of things, a lot of ideas on how to better my life. So, yeah, so I use those things to try to better my life. And I take those thoughts, I write them down, obviously, in my journal. And then I try my best to execute, those things, those ideas that I have. So, hence, I'm saying overthinking kind of like works for me in that way. That is how it impacts my life. So maybe you can copy me and try to use your overthinking and just channel your brain, channel your mind to use your overthinking for your own benefit. It has to be beneficial for your growth, for your personal growth, for your personal development in your career, in your relationships, in your mental well-being, and your physical well-being. So I hope that you guys have learned a lot from this podcast. This is the Awesome Woman podcast by Eve Bodirwa, aka Dearest Eve, aka the creative visionary. And you're still gonna hear more from me, and this is only the beginning. So love and light, love and light.